Osaka, and here you see some of the communities. I'll leave them up on the map for you. But we got a hail core on this. Came up out of Louisiana Hills. Here's Gillsburg and Gloucester's back over there under my box. And some very heavy rain and lightning coming up towards Macomb and Summit, but it does look like the worst part of this storm will be just to the south from about Magnolia and down towards the south, towards the Louisiana line. Further to the north now, the threat of severe weather has not ended in the Jackson metro area. It's just a different kind of threat. We have the threat of heavy rain, flash flooding, and still lightning strikes. There could be some gusty winds, and there's the chance of some small hail, and that's the primary severe weather threat from Port Gibson up to Vicksburg and Jackson. And we can already note that the back edge of the severe storms coming out of Louisiana are coming up on the Mississippi River counties, and it looks like in about 1 hour's time, this back edge will be crossing Interstate 55, and then we'll see a significant decrease in the threat of severe weather across the viewing area. I know that one tornado watch was in effect till 7. Our southern counties on the Louisiana line until 10. It does not look like the severe weather threat will last that long into the evening. I'll leave some of those towns up that are in the tornado warning area for now, but you see that, and that's down to in Pike County. You can see the heavy downpours coming into the Jackson metro area with a little thunder and lightning. And look at that temperature in Jackson, 64 degrees. Now that cell with the hail core looked a little stronger a short time ago, and it does look like it has a little bit of a push of wind to it. Continue to monitor that situation. Again, if it can just gust out wind, that would be much better than producing a tornado. Look at all the lightning right around that hail core. Very, very active storm. Getting a little bit closer now, just about 10 minutes away, coming into south of Macomb, Magnolia, down towards the Louisiana line. Heavy rain's going to lead out ahead of that. When we're saying 10 minutes, that's the hail core and where the possible tornado is. You see that blue, 50 to 70 mile an hour winds. And notice we don't have that black, at least right now. It's a situation where it could cycle up and down. This is still in the warm, humid air, and that boundary looks like it's right to the north of that, and that's why it's moving eastward right along the boundary. See, watch it. I'll put it in motion, and you can see on that cell, see a little black come up as it was coming out of Teddy and Felixville in Louisiana. Looked a little bit stronger than it does right now, so maybe a good news there of a little bit of a weakening trend. There it is in motion again. You can see that black core go away. Hey, this is still a severe storm. Just doesn't look as strong as it was a short time ago. A quick recap over on the supercomputer. Flash flood watch is in effect for a large part of the area. And then we have the tornado watch. If we could switch over the supercomputer, please. The southern half of the area, a tornado watch. And really, that's our most extreme southern counties. There's the one tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warning a little bit further to the north. So here's where we have the severe potential now. And even in this very likely area, remember we have all kinds of different threats going across the area as this moves across the area from the west to the east. Tornado threat is confined pretty much to our extreme southern counties. Further to the north, flash flooding, a little bit of hail. Let's go back over to Adam's storm analysis on that cell. It's getting pretty close now, moving into the western parts of Pike County, just to the west of Magnolia.
And you called it, David. It is beginning to gust out and form a bow shape. Let's switch over to Storm Shield 16 3D, and you can see that very nicely right there. When we talk about a bow shape, looks like somebody is pulling a bow back, and you can see that right now. So we'll put on the wind, and you also notice how it's kind of spreading out, and that's what we like to see when we talk about a storm gusting out. We'll go back a few scans and notice how tight that rotation was near the Felixville area. Very bright, very tight, very compact. That's more of a tornado threat. Now, as we step forward in time, you can see how that area has broadened out. So we really are looking at more of a straight line wind threat moving into southern Mitt and southern Pike County. Still tremendous lightning right now. Macomb and Summit, Fernwood, Magnolia, Chattawa, you are experiencing tremendous lightning strikes right now. Probably constant cloud to ground lightning strikes. Just the big flash bangs that shake the wall falls and are just so loud, and that's what these elevated, what we were talking about, these elevated thunderstorms do. They produce tremendous lightning, and they can produce some gusty winds and some hail, but that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing more of a transition into a straight line, gusty push of wind across southern DeMitt County and southern Pike County. And we'll go to that storm off to the north across Franklin County, and it has crossed the boundary. So the boundary right now, from my analysis, goes from about the Goss area to about Summit, the northern part of DeMitt County. That's where that cool boundary is laying right now. And so as those storms cross that boundary, they're going to change in their structure and change in their characteristics. They're going to go from more of a tornadic potential to more of a hail potential, a lot of lightning, heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty winds. So they're going to change characteristics as they move into that new air mass, a bit more cooler air mass, a bit more stable air mass there at the surface. So that's what we're dealing with right now. So Brookhaven, still tremendous lightning moving into your area right now. Heavy rainfall is getting ready to move into that region right now, along with maybe some small hail and some gusty winds too. We're picking that up right now from McCall Creek down to the Smithdale area. So this will be moving over into the Brookhaven and the Boca Chita area. And then we have the tornado warning right now, which does include that gusty push of wind south of Liberty, south of Peoria, moving into Pike County. So that is the current situation right now with those storms. And in fact, I'll put on the, go to the Jackson radar. And I'm going to show you what we're talking about with this boundary. You can actually see it on the radar. So I'm going to play it through, and you notice this thin blue line right here. We're going to let it play again. Notice this thin blue line right here where my cursor is, from Brookhaven to Monticello to Prentice. Now watch it as I put it in motion. That blue line right here is sinking to the south. That's that cooler air right now, which is laying on our 4 southern counties right now. It is laying on the border of Marion County, Walthall County, Pike County, and Mitt County. And as these storms that are coming up from the southwest are crossing that boundary, they're changing characteristic, they're changing their shape and their structure, and they're becoming more of a prolific lightning producer more than a gusty wind producer. So that's what we're talking about with that cool air. You can actually see it coming down on the radar screen. So there it is right there, David. Tremendous lightning getting ready to move into Pike County. But the good news is the storm is gusting out and less of a tornado threat.
And you're not kidding about the lightning. We've had some big lightning cells today with the action that even started earlier in the afternoon. Here's our severe thunderstorm warnings. Now notice we've extended the severe thunderstorm warning over here into southern parts of Lincoln County to the south of Brookhaven. That's that cell coming out of Franklin County. Severe thunderstorm warning for a minute, and then we still continue with the tornado warning across Pike County for areas Magnolia and to the south. We're looking at this possible tornado situation continuing for several more hours from Macomb and then further off to the southeast. Now, the further north you get, it turns into a gusty wind, high wind threat. And then really, once you start getting up into the Jackson area, as far as wind and all that, it diminishes, but we still have a hail and a flash flood threat continuing. So there's multiple facets of the storm that are evolving across the area, from heavy rain, lightning strikes, and wind further to the north to the tornado threat down further to the south. Here is live Storm Shield 16 Doppler radar. Give you the picture of what's going on across the viewing area. We do have another round of heavy downpours getting ready to move across the Jackson metro area, just starting across the western parts of the metro area. This will be spreading over into Rankin County very shortly, moving from Copiah over into Simpson. And I'm estimating taking maybe 45 minutes to an hour to make the way across the metro area. You already see the back edge of the nasty stuff coming up on Vicksburg. So in the next 5-10 minutes, the weather will begin to improve dramatically in Vicksburg, and maybe 15 or 20 minutes down in Natchez, the weather will begin to improve significantly. This is the severe line of storms coming out of Louisiana. It's beginning to merge with a lot of the activity that has been ongoing here in Mississippi, and the strongest cells, you can see the clusters of lightning. Boy, it probably just hear the thunder, window rattling thunder down from Brookhaven into Macomb right now. Now, if you even watch this radar picture closely, you see that thin blue line that Adam, I'll point it right there. That is the cooler air sinking to the south. And then on the north side of that, notice how we have some new development down towards Bassfield, Prentice, and over towards Mount Olive. So this activity is going to develop, and this is in an area where temperatures are still warm to the south of there. But look here now, look, watch Hattiesburg temperature, it's falling. So some of that cooler air sagging south into Hattiesburg, that may help diminish the tornado threat through the Hattiesburg metropolitan area and parts of the Pine Belt, which would be just great news that this storminess coming into Magnolia, southern Pike County, Macomb, Brookhaven right now. That'll traverse the southern counties, move across Lawrence, Monticello, down towards Tylertown, JS, and continue off to the east. But it is, we're just seeing some nice eastward progress of the whole ball of wax. Here's the heavy downpours now increasing across the western parts of Rankin County. I don't expect any severe thunderstorm warnings this far to the north. At least that's the way it looks right now. There could be a warning come out maybe for some hail, but looks like up in the metro area we are on the low end of the severe thunderstorm threat. Heavy downpours, maybe some gusty winds associated with that. And there you see the heaviest rains beginning already now to shift east of Vicksburg, and they'll be crossing Highway 61 in Port Gibson, and certainly by, 6:45, 7 o'clock, most of that rough weather should be well to the east of Highway 61. Here it is now. Severe thunderstorm warning, wind and hail south of Brookhaven down towards Bogue Chitto with that cell. And certainly the stronger cell is the one moving across Macomb and Pike County right now. This cell will continue to move off to the east at about 50 miles per hour. And flash flooding is going to be a threat here too. Very, very heavy rainfall moving across this area. And the hail still certainly possible, at least right now. It does not look like it was like it did a short time ago with the large hail moving through. All right, still a little bit of wind coming into Bogue Chitto, and we got down here, we still got a warning ring, so there's certainly some gusty winds coming down into the southern parts of Pike County. Here it is in motion. Heavy downpours, thunderstorm moving across Macomb, Magnolia, Summit. Certainly does look like the strongest winds are to the south of Macomb, right into the Magnolia area. We do have a tornado warning. It does look like it have a nice push of wind, so perhaps before too much longer we can see the tornado warning canceled and go to just a severe thunderstorm warning for that cell moving across the southern parts of the viewing area in and around Macomb. Big, nasty thunderstorm, but just not seeing that couplet that we did a short time ago. Looks like a nice push of wind, so there could be damaging wind gusts moving across much of the southern half of the county, and then that will move across and out of Pike County into Walthall County before too much longer. So we'll probably see a severe thunderstorm warning issued for Walthall County before too much longer as that continues to evolve. All right, here, let me show you the wide view, and there you can see the back edge of the heavy storms. Still got some heavy rain back towards Louisiana. This is mostly heavy downpours and storms. No warnings in there, so right now, say for the next 1 to 2 hours, it's going to be prime time for those severe storms to be crossing the southern parts of the viewing area. Let's go back over to Adam for an update on the wind in Pike County.
All right, David, still continue to see a gusty push of wind right now. There's the wind mode, and you can see that pocket of strong wind right now still in extreme southeast Mitt County, moving over into Pike County. Again, it looks like the strongest winds are going to be Magnolia, Chattawa to Osika, but ahead of it, a lot of lightning. In fact, that lightning spreading over into Walthall County, hearing some rumbles of thunder in the Tylertown area, just a lot of tremendous lightning across the entire Pike County area, from Summit down to Osika, just tremendous lightning strikes right now. But there's that push of wind, and detecting winds of 40 to maybe 50 miles per hour. We're looking from the New Orleans Slidell radar, this gives us a little bit better vantage point than the Jackson radar, a little bit lower to the ground. So that's why we're using the New Orleans Slidell radar to look at this storm. But there's a look at it. Looks like the strongest winds are hugging the state line from Pitt County, St. Helena Parish, Louisiana, and that's going to continue, looks like, east and maybe turn a little bit more to the southeast. Looks like that gusty push of wind is going to hug the state line, so that would be affecting areas like Kentwood over in Louisiana, Osika, Chattawa, and just kind of thinking out loud, if that storm continues on that motion, we'll move over towards Tylertown, Lexi, and the Warnerton area. So again, we'll put that in motion so you can see how that is moving and evolving with time. So there you see it pushing across portions of Pike County and into Walthall County. In fact, I'm going to go to the weather wall just kind of illustrate what we're talking about. So if you can punch me up on the green wall here, just kind of illustrate what's going on across that area right now. So here it is. There's that gusty push of wind coming across the state line. So we're really focused right here. And so if you just follow that out, that's going to move across the southern part of Pike County. Okay, so Macomb is up here, and you see that gusty push of wind just coming right across to the east like that. But you notice on the last frame, all the lightning strikes that are across Pike County, and that is spreading over into Walthall County as well. So lightning, heavy rain, very loud in Walthall County, about to get very loud. It's very loud right now in Pike County. That is moving over into Walthall County as well. But you see that gusty push of wind right there, just excellent presentation on the radar right there, pushing into basically hugging the state line between Louisiana and Mississippi. Again, I'm going to go over here and just adjust the GR2 for a minute. Just want to show people this cool push of air that I'm talking about right now. And we'll put back on the base reflectivity, and we'll stop it on the last frame there, and just kind of show people what is going on. I think I can get a better view from the Jackson radar on that, and just bear with me for a minute. All right, there we go. So we'll put it in motion, and when we talk about this thin blue line coming down, okay, so watch it. There it is. You see that thin blue line right there. Okay, watch it again. We're going to animate it one more time. You see it coming down through Oakvale, JS, Ruth. That's that cool air. So the thunderstorms that we had earlier this afternoon have put out that boundary, that cold pool of air. Remember, cold air is very dense. So cold air is dense and heavy and tends just to ooze and seep down into South Mississippi. And David made a good catch. Look at that line now coming into Hattiesburg. So Hattiesburg's temperature is going down, which means your tornado threat is going down in that area. So right now, just our 4 bottom counties are in that warm, soupy air. But as this cool pool of air continues to ooze down, we will see that threat transitioning from more of a tornado to a severe, from a tornado threat to a maybe wind and large hail threat. But that's what that cell is moving into. So it's going to be interesting to see over the next few hours how that transitions across South Mississippi, David.
Well, it's moving quickly. Back to line storm shows 16 Doppler radar now, and a lot of weather going on different parts of the area. Live storm shed 16 Doppler radar, please. Get that back up. And you can see we have a large area of storminess moving across the area. In the northern edge up here, the threat is flash flooding. Up in northwest Rankin County, you have a pretty nasty thunderstorm moving through right now up Highway 25 towards Sand Hill and Pisgah. Big downpour with that. And a little bit of thunder and lightning does stretch westward from Rankin County right through the metro area back to the west. Even in Vicksburg, where the rain is beginning to let up, you are beginning to see the rain let up and still getting some thunder and lightning. You can see the little white dots there. But good news now, rain letting up right along our Mississippi River counties. That trend will continue. Here's the heavy thunderstorm moving across northwest parts of Rankin County. No tornado threat up here, which is great news. A flash flood threat. Very heavy rain moving across Raymond, Byram, Terry, out towards Utica, beating the band. And with this, you're going to get a quick inch or two of rain. Flash flooding is going to be possible. But very good news, the way everything has unfolded, that the tornado threat has diminished significantly further to the north up into the Jackson metro area. We are not concerned about tornado development at all for the rest of this evening. But we do have the heavy rain, flash flood threat, and perhaps even a little bit of hail. Now, it's a different ball game down here into the south. We do have some nasty storms moving into parts of the southern outlying areas of Brookhaven anyway. So right now, Lincoln and Pike County is really seeing some nasty weather, and certainly the strongest part of that cell has moved to the east side of Interstate 55 down there in Pike County. So back now to the west of Macomb and Magnolia, Osika, the weather is beginning to get a little bit better, at least for now. There's more storms coming in still off to your west, but these two cells continue to move quickly off to the northeast. And notice how we're seeing some downpours develop across Monticello into Prentice and then over towards Collins. I don't think those showing any signs of being severe in the near term. Would not be surprised if most of the warnings for the rest of this evening are on the counties bordering Louisiana and maybe one county up. That should be it for any kind of severe thunderstorm warnings, and maybe a possible tornado warning, which we do have for the southern parts of Pike County right now. And that cell will be moving over to Walthall County, so we could see a severe thunderstorm warning here issued very shortly, at least based on the radar and the storm gusting out. There's still that area that Adam was talking about, right on the Mississippi-Louisiana line. That's a part of the storm that would try to act up, and that would, when I say act up, try to maybe develop a tornado, that would be heading over towards Tylertown, more towards the east. So a lot going on down across those southern counties right now. Now further to the north, up to Bochita and Brookhaven, looks like a hail and wind threat. That cell probably not looking like it's going to be severe much longer. Good news there. The further to the south storm still looks hail to me now, east of Macomb and Magnolia. See these purple areas right here, and we're getting these warning rings, and it looks like a new core developing down on the Mississippi-Louisiana line, and this is the part of the cell which could tornado. So what's going to happen for Walthall County? Severe thunderstorm warning or maybe a tornado warning? We may see a severe for the north and a tornado warning for the south, because it got two aspects of that cell. The cell which had the tornado warning on now looks like it's mostly hail, lightning, and wind, and on the southern flank of that, it does look like we have a possibility of something developing here. Here are the winds in the Bochita area, maybe 50 mile-ish, but look at that, really beginning to see some deep blue in here, so we're seeing some winds perhaps near 70 miles per hour with that cell. This is certainly a part of the cell that could produce something in the way of a tornado, so we'll watch that. And if you're watching and looking up wind where that would go, Emerald, Progress, and then of course you got over into Walthall County, Tylertown. You are certainly in the path of this cell right now. Great. Here's a better look at it, a little wider view in the eastward movement. So the northern part of that cell has kind of merged with the northern one. Doesn't look too severe right now, but now the southern flank seeing development, and our warning rings concentrating on that area. And this will be moving over into the Walthall area vicinity in Tylertown over the next 30 minutes. So you're going to see deteriorating weather conditions over towards Tylertown and into Walthall County and eventually Columbia and Marion County. This is the area that has the highest chance now of any thunderstorm producing a tornado as it moves to the northeast. Now further to the north, we got a lot of big rain coming across the Jackson metro area, and then down to Natchez, very heavy downpours with temperatures in the middle 60s. The temperature has dropped significantly down here in Alexandria. So all this stuff to the north, we're not concerned about tornadoes at this time. Heavy rain, flash flooding, and right here, You can see it where all that lightning has developed around those two cells. All right, Adam was agreeing with me on the development of that cell as it the southern flank right on the Mississippi-Louisiana line. Over to the maps. Here are the current warnings for the area. Again, we're way down in the southern part of the viewing area. That's what's left of the tornado warning. We'll see what develops right on the Mississippi-Louisiana line. Certainly our viewers down in Walthall County right here need to be a heads up on that cell, which is moving almost due east right on the Mississippi-Louisiana line at this time. And this is where the chances for tornadoes are, as it's developing, probably can even scoot that red, I think, the northern edge a little bit further to the south. All right, Adam, back over to you. What do you got on that? Boy, you can see that right down there on the southern parts of Pike County getting ready to shift over into Walthall.
That's right, David. Yeah, and like we were talking about, you just see that concentrated area of wind right now, and that's going to be translating over into Walthall County right now. The worst of the weather is from Chattawa to Osika, moving more east is what I'm thinking, moving to the east, all right? So, again, and you see the magentas right here between Fernwood and Holmesville. So this storm is trying to maintain or trying to take back on that hook shape. David, I noticed that as you were up there discussing what was going on with that storm. And again, we'll put that in motion. We got the 2-panel mode on for you. So on your left, we have the precipitation. On your right, we have the velocity going on. And let me go over to the wall, just kind of point out what we're talking about. So if y'all can punch me up on the chroma key right there, and we'll just kind of talk about what we're seeing with that, where we're talking about it trying to evolve and get better organized. So there's your cell right there, Chattawa, Osika. Man, some really nasty weather right now from Magnolia to Chattawa to Osika. And then here is the wind coming through. There's your gusty push of wind, almost moving due east. And so if you track that out, that's going to be coming up towards Tylertown, Lexi, and then hugging the state line. This is the state line right here. So Mississippi, Louisiana, and there's a look at the storm trying to take on that hook shape, David. We've noticed that changing structure, trying to take on that hook kidney bean shape there. So that's really going to move over into Walthall County. So Tylertown, Lexi, pay attention to this because the storm is changing. You were still in the warm sector of things. In fact, let me stop in the last frame right there because I think we just did get one of our TDS markers, or TVS markers, excuse me, right there. So we see that couplet, we see that rotation increasing right there. Right here is where we're talking about, right there, just to the east of Chattawa. Right there, Chattawa, Osika getting very heavy rain, maybe some small hail right now. And this is where your rotation's increasing right there. We do see it with
approaching 100 miles per hour there.
Okay, not good news. All right, folks, we got winds approaching 100 miles per hour right here. This is just to the east of Chattawa and Osika, moving to the east. And you notice how we're trying to get that hook shape right there. So Holmesville up here, seeing some very heavy rain, tremendous lightning, maybe some small hail, and then that is where your rotation is going to be right there to the east of Chattawa. Here's the velocity.
And into Progress, 100-mile-an-hour winds right now.
Okay, all right, you heard it. You heard it here, folks. 100-mile-an-hour winds moving into those areas right now, and there's a look at that very tight couplet right there, and that's why we did get the upside down triangle, which is our tornado vortex signature marker, which indicates to us that we have increasing potential for a tornado in that area. And again, the structure continues to improve. You notice that hook shape right there, and then you see what could be a rear flank downdraft developing. That's just going to be some gusty winds now pushing down into Tangipahoa Parish. This is Kentwood right here, Tangipahoa, and then that's going to be moving down like this. So that's your increasing circulation. So this is moving due east. All right, Lexi in Walthall County, heads up. This is moving directly in your direction right now. Tylertown, Lexi, take cover now. This storm is increasing in potential for a tornado. And like David said, we are detecting 100-mile-per-hour winds now moving into the southern part of Walthall County. Tylertown and Lexi, there's the state line. And then over here is Clinton, Louisiana. So there, Clifton, Louisiana, I should say. So there it is, moving directly to the east like that. So the structure continues to be very impressive on Storm Shield 16 3D, and there's a look at the very tight rotation. They're coming into portions of Walthall County. Very impressive lightning. Still continue with the continuous cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. And I mean, just look at that, David. Since I was talking, the structure has really tightened up and looking more tornadic.
Yeah, that storm definitely has come up there, and yeah, right along the Mississippi-Louisiana line, increasing tornado threat now, as this cell is really going to crank up, and this could be a strong one here through the course of the evening. Over to live Storm Shield 16 Doppler radar, just to give you a quick recap for everybody that is watching here in the viewing area. There's no threat of tornadoes up into the Jackson metro area. That threat has long since passed, and we've been telling you that for a while now, really since that thunderstorm complex went through at mid-afternoon. It knocked our tornado threat down, which was great news for really the Jackson metro area, areas to the north and west. The back edge of the storminess is coming into western Hinds County now, and really even the heavy activity crossing the Mississippi River down towards Natchez is not going to be severe. As far as any kind of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, we're only going to see it now out ahead of this cell coming out of Pike County, moving across Walthall County, and is on the increase. It'll be a close call for Hattiesburg. You're very marginal right now. Your temperature has fallen into the mid-70s. I think you're probably still unstable enough. So if you have some family and friends over in the Hattiesburg area, you need to give them a call and make sure that they know there is a nasty thunderstorm developing off to the west of Hattiesburg and will be impacting Hattiesburg shortly. By the way, the winds in Macomb did gust to between 40 and 45 miles per hour, and in about 15 minutes there was 1.25 inches of rain. That's why we're talking about the threat of some flash flooding with these cells. Remember now, our viewing area goes 100 miles north of Jackson, 100 miles to the south of Jackson. So we do service a very large area with the severe weather. All right, still got some really torrential downpours moving across parts of the metro area. Be winding down pretty quickly now across Hinds County. There's still some pretty hard rain back towards Utica, but really the heaviest rain is already shifting out of the eastern parts of Hinds County, Byram, Terry. It's been really raining hard for the last 15 or 20 minutes. That is shifting to the east, so if you're having any flash flooding in poor drainage areas, this should begin to abate over the next 30 minutes. Still good rains, really beating the band as far as the rain here. You're going to probably pick up a quick 1 to 2 inches of rain over here in Rankin County, so there could be some flash flooding. But again now, here in the metro area, there is no tornado threat at this time, and it's probably over with this weather event, which is great, great news. Further to the south, it's a different story here. We're still watching this thunderstorm, and watching the coverage last week. This is a supercell thunderstorm on the very southern edge now of all this activity. It's feeding on a boundary with cooler air to the north and very warm air to the south, and the thunderstorm is moving right on the boundary. Prime location. We have some strong upper level winds. Warning rings are turning red, and it's headed over towards Tylertown. Now that cell further to the north up towards Brookhaven, Bogue Chitto, has weakened significantly. Heavy rain and thunder and lightning up there. It is not a factor. But further to the south, getting ready to move into Walthall County now, up towards JS, particularly hard hit last week. We had that EF4 tornado move across the northern part of Walthall County last Sunday. This is all hail that you're seeing here on the northern part, really looking at a classic supercell thunderstorm form. Really don't like to see the signatures that are currently developing on this because, you know, we're covering it. It's developing right before our eyes. And certainly when we see all this developing, it has the potential to produce a strong tornado. This was a serious storm on the very far southern parts of our viewing area. But, you know, Macomb, Magnolia, Summit, weather has improved significantly. This weather has passed. You're probably hearing the thunder off to your east and seeing some lightning strikes come out of this cell right now. Just hate to see another cell like this develop into a strong storm system as it moves across the Walthall area, a little bit further south than last week's storm.
Dave, we may be seeing a TDS starting to develop on that storm. So
keep us advised on that. TDS, that would be a debris signature with this cell. And here is some of the wind. Have they issued a tornado warning over into Walthall County yet?
Yes, Tyler Town is under a warning.
So we do have a tornado warning over there right now. You know, on my map, we have so many boxes blinking. So I share your pain watching at home. I know when we have severe weather, there's a lot of stuff blinking. We got the severe the tornado watch box up there. But yeah, tornado warning now is in effect over into Walthall County. Really strong winds. We don't see the yellows anymore, but these winds in the blue are 70, but they're also congealed into a circular area, so we do have a possible tornado in this area now east of Emerald, just to the north of Progress, and moving to the south of Leggett. It looks like up towards Leggett and this area. It looks like there could be some hail falling out of this cell right now. There it is. I want to put it in motion so you can see how it is a really nasty storm and how it had some yellow in there, which is winds up to about 100 miles per hour. So this is still a nasty cell. And even on this one radar scan, I was just going to say, even though it's not showing yellow right now, don't let that make you think that it is not a serious storm. Look how quickly it is moving. We have another one of these cells that's moving at about 60 miles per hour, and it's bearing down. You only have minutes now in Tylertown and Lexi, right along Highway 27 to take cover, and you should be in an interior room or hallway right now, developing nasty signature, and could see out of this cell a strong tornado, which would be EF2 or higher, bearing right down there across the southern half of Tylertown. So the northern part up towards JS, heavy rain and some hail, which was hit by the EF4 last Sunday, but this cell is going to hit the southern part of Walthall County, be a little bit further to the south, and really just moving between Tylertown and the Mississippi-Louisiana line. That is just a nasty-looking cell right there. So if you're over here now in Columbia, Marion County, really looks like this is going to pretty much remain on that eastern course. So that would take it to the south of Columbia and hopefully stay to the south of Hattiesburg. So keep an eye on it. But this is probably going to be a long-lasting cell and last for a good while. I think it could go on for at least an hour or more because it's just getting organized. So we do have the tornado warning for Walthall County in the far southern parts of the viewing area. And here is the rotation now. And as I said, just minutes away from crossing Highway 27, rushing Tylertown, Lexi, at risk of seeing a tornado, and certainly strong and damaging winds with this cell moving off to the east. Put it right there. Clicker's not working for me. There it goes. It's moving slowly. A lot of data going into the computer right now, but there you can see that rotation coming in from the west, and it is moving pretty much due east with that cell. A lot of data coming in, so it's kind of just slowed my computer down a little bit there. All right, so that is the tornado warning with that cell and the back edge of the heavy rain coming up on the Mississippi River. There is another cell here which has a lot of lightning on it, but I don't expect that to tornado. That's in cooler air, so maybe some hail will move into Wilkinson County with that cell. This is going to be the main event now for the evening time, this leading cell. I don't expect anything back behind it to be a tornado threat. That's good news, but this cell is ugly as it's crossing Walthall County near and just to the south of Tylertown. All right, Adam, give us an update on what you're seeing there on rotation.
David, yes, still increasing in rotation right now, and the storm structure is, I think, beginning to change a little bit, maybe cycling, and looks like right now we just have, it looks like the wind signature is beginning to elongate, but don't let your guard down. These storms are cyclic. They go through changes, and the next update will probably be recycling, because this is in a prime environment. This is down here in extreme South Mississippi, and this is the area of the state where you would be the most likely to see a tornado. And again, all evidence is suggesting this could be potentially a strong tornado. Again, we thought maybe I was seeing maybe what could have been a debris signature, was kind of trying to match it up here on the 4-panel mode. Go back a few frames, and you see how we just had that very classic hook shape right there. It matched up with the wind velocity. This is our normalized rotation down here. And then right here where that yellow upside down triangle is, where my cursor is circling, some semblance of maybe a debris signature trying to develop right there. So it might have touched down very quickly and then lifted back up. But we're going to watch that very carefully over the next few scans. In the meantime, if you live in Tylertown, Lexi, just across the state line into the Warnerton area, very strong winds moving in your area right now. So please go ahead and observe those tornado safety precautions, lowest level near the center, away from windows. You want to be in that shelter when these strong winds do come through, because this is the
100 to 125 on the winds now.
Okay, 100 to 125. You heard it here. All right, so now we're starting to increase in the likelihood of a strong tornado in this area right now. Storm Shield is suggesting that we could have 100 to 125 mile-per-hour winds now coming into Tylertown. And this is serious, folks. Take this seriously. This is the most impressive signature we have seen on the radar today, and this is in that prime environment. This air is untouched. It's still in the 80s and 70s down here, and this air has really not been touched all day long. Very prime environment down here for a storm of that magnitude, and we see all of the blinking red warning rings on our Storm Shield system right there. So here it is right now, coming into Lexi and Tylertown. So we're going to try to get in close right here. We'll take it off the 4-panel mode into the 2-panel mode. And we'll get in close here. This is State Highway 27. This is Beulah Avenue, which is coming into downtown Tylertown, US 98. And this is moving to the east right now. So again, there it is right there, coming into Tylertown as we speak at the moment. Noxo is in the path of this. So Tylertown over to Noxo, and then this will be moving over into Marion County. Okay, so thinking downstream, if you live in the Hurricane Creek area, Sandy Hook, Spring Cottage, this is right along the Pearl River there in Marion County, Hurricane Creek, Spring Cottage, the hub area over towards the Pine Burr area. This is moving due east right across southern Walthall County into southern Marion County. We'll go back to the other radar source. We're going to go back to the New Orleans source. A little bit better look at this storm, and you can see just, it continues to be very impressive. And with the radar data that we're seeing, David, you said 100 to 125. That's getting up there in that strong tornado criteria.
Keep an eye out for some kind of debris signature with that development. Go ahead and keep that 3D up there for a second, if you would, please. And right in this area, south, right there, Lexi, right in this area, we got some rotation, strong winds, 100, 125 miles per hour is what we're picking up on live Storm Shield 16 Doppler radar. So tornado doesn't look like it'll pass towards Tylertown. Quarter-inch hail a short time ago in progress as this cell crossed the area. So we're right in the right up here, the northern part. That's some hail, and we got this rotation on the south side of Lexi. So we're picking up the winds. Could be, just kind of gusty winds in that area, but certainly seeing that structure where we could have a tornado. There's a little bit of an update as again, this is moving along on a little bit of a boundary down there. May have a tendency to try to gust out. So we'll continue to watch that as it moves across Walthall County, and that'll be headed over into Marion County. Live Storm Shield 16 Doppler radar now. Go back to that. Just again, up into the Jackson metro area. We no longer have a tornado watch in effect. We've been telling you that for the last really couple hours now. Just want to make sure you know that the tornado threat up here in the Jackson metro area has passed. I think the tornado watch officially does continue till 9 now. They've extended it a couple hours across the southern most counties of Mississippi, as we still have some cells moving right along. There's another cell. We'll keep an eye on that coming into Wilkinson County right now.
Just an update, David. Tornado warning extended for Marion, Lamar County, just downwind.
So that's out ahead of that, and it is moving pretty quickly. So that, again, is just going to be for right up to the Hattiesburg metropolitan area. And we've been advising you, if you had family down in the Hattiesburg area, you should give them a heads up so they can tune into the local TV stations down there, which will give them more localized coverage as that storm's coming in to the west side of Hattiesburg, probably over the next 30 minutes. It's going to be a close call for Hattiesburg, but it does look like the circulation is a little bit further to the south than the immediate city limits. Here is the downpours now really beginning to shift across Rankin County. I do expect, as far as the heavy rain situation, should begin to improve here across the Jackson area. I don't think the rain is just going to end like that, but the heavy downpours moving across Brandon, Florence, out towards Star, Pelahatchie, Puckett should be winding down shortly, and there's still some pretty heavy rain moving across Hazelhurst and Crystal Springs. That will continue as well. All right, let's get back down here to the business. Now, to the north of that, there's still a strong cell moving across the southern parts of Lincoln County, and that'll be shooting over into Lawrence County. There is the potential for some hail and gusty winds on that cell. So here out to the southeast of Brookhaven now, this cell, wind and hail will be shifting into the southern half of Lawrence County. Could see a potential severe thunderstorm warning with that cell as we continue to watch it. All right, Kokomo here now, and we got our warning rings. There, you look back to the west, Progress had the hail, Smithburg, a little bit of hail as it moved through. It looks like there's some hail on the north side of this, and then right under some of our warning rings, here's Tylertown and Lexi. Right there with our warning rings. And still, this is at least on, this is one of our severe weather graphics that we show. This looks like a tornado to me, and this is winds in the 100 to 125 mile range, and certainly in this environment it is capable of producing an EF2 tornado. So this is going to be still some strong winds up towards Tylertown, but it looks like the tornado is now to the southeast of Lexi and headed over towards the Kirkland community, already east of Highway 27. So if you're down there in Walthall County, you know these areas that I'm talking about. And then further off to the east, where they've issued that severe thunderstorm warning, out towards Dexter and then over towards Lamar County, which takes you pretty close to the Hattiesburg area. But get a little bit closer here now, and here you see Highway 48, Kiln Road, Kirkland, Tylertown, Lexi, all these areas, very strong winds, and radar signature is looking like there is a tornado associated with that cell. Here it is in motion, and you can see where it is going. Over, this is Marion County, Columbia. Further to the north, Columbia, you could see hail. You're on the north side of this supercell thunderstorm. The tornado itself would pass to the south of Columbia and move across the southern parts of Marion County right there. All right, here's the mess that's going on across the southern parts of the viewing area, and we got a nasty cell moving out of Lincoln County into Lawrence County. Very heavy rain across a large part of the area. Still got some torrential downpours, and you could still pick up 1 to 3 inches of rain causing flash flooding. So the flash flood watch continues across the area. Again, now, if you have family in Hattiesburg, give them a heads up. That's going to be a close call for this cell, and it's still got about 30 minutes or so before that cell approaches the outer reaches of Hattiesburg, and there you can see that rotation in that same area that we're tracking these winds. Right now, focusing on the Kirkland community, southeastern parts of Walthall County to the southeast of Tylertown. Radar indicating a strong tornado down in that area. And have you all seen, do we have any sky watchers down there? Have they reported anything?
We haven't seen anything yet, David, down there.
All right, well, and it's been in a fairly rural area. A lot of our storm trackers have been a little bit further to the north. You heard Keegan during the 6 o'clock news. She was headed down towards Brookhaven, where they've had some really rough weather. She ought to be down there right now. So if anything happens, Keegan Fox is very close to that cell. But look at all that lightning that is shifting across areas of Walthall towards Marion County. Nasty cell, and then you got this other cell. No warnings on this right now. We keep an eye on it, but it really looks to me like the last of the worst of the severe storms may be this cell that's making its way towards southeast Mississippi. Adam, what do you have on that on the 3D?
All right, David, yeah, continuing to see that very impressive rotation. Again, we've got the 4-panel box up and just trying to see if I can see any type of debris signature. We've seen the normalized rotation, which is down here in the bottom left-hand corner. It has been showing us the red colors, which we've seen with past experience from last weekend. When you get up into that red color there, that indicates that we have very strong winds and the circulation is very tight in that storm right now. Basically, the rotation is following Highway 48 in southern Walthall County. Okay, so it looks like the worst of the weather is now past Tylertown and is now moving down Highway 48 toward the Sandy Hook area. This is over into Marion County. Okay, so the next major highway, basically this storm is following Highway 48, and it will be crossing over State Highway 35, which is over here into Marion County. We'll go back into the two-panel mode for you so you can see kind of where this is in relation to Columbia and some of the bigger cities there into Marion County. Again, thinking that this cell is going to basically hug the southern part of Walthall County, the southern part of Marion County, and the southern part of Lamar County. Okay, so this is the entire warning box for you. I'll even put it into the one-panel mode so you can kind of get a good perspective of what's going on. Hattiesburg is right over here. Okay, so the warning just butts up against Forest County, but it does include a good section of Lamar County, a good chunk of Marion County. Columbia, you're technically in the tornado warning, but like we've been watching over the past 15 minutes, this tornadic part of the storm is really hugging the southern part of Marion County, of Walthall County, and we'll be moving over into Marion and Lamar County. All right, going to show you a little bit of a behind-the-scenes thing, which this is kind of why we're thinking this area is going to continue to see the threat for strong tornadoes. This area down in here has not seen that cool push of air come that far south yet. So in Columbia, the temperature is 77, the dew point 73. So it's still a very juicy environment, and your winds are out of the southeast, allowing better inflow into that thunderstorm. Hattiesburg, your current temperature is 79, dew point of 70. So the atmosphere is still very ripe in this area for a continued strong tornado. So this thunderstorm is not moving into a less favorable environment. This storm is moving into the same environment, which all indications are that it's going to continue to maintain its strength. And it looks like right now this is trying to maybe reorganize a little bit better. And you see that we have the yellow TVS marker, which does indicate that we have that wind strengthening, that couplet strengthening, and maybe trying to reorganize south of Kokomo. So this is going to basically be along Highway 48 in southern Walthall County, and then moving over into Marion County. This will stay south of downtown Columbia, and this will move over into the Sandy Hook area. So, David, this storm is not going to weaken by what we're seeing right now with the environmental conditions.
The velocity there on 3D. Yeah. Go back over to 3D and just put it in motion for me. Let's see what it tries to do as it's moving off to the east. It rotates very broad. There's certainly some strong winds right in here, and the winds are pushing off to the east, which we're showing you, where we think that there could be winds over 100 miles per hour. We're just not seeing that tight couplet wrap up just yet. Seems like it's still trying to do that to the east of Lexi, and it's in an area that is favorable for development, so this will continue to move over towards the Hattiesburg area, move Marion and Lamar counties, which are under tornado warning. So still this cell, although not a tight couplet, still in that area where that, you can go ahead and stop it on the last one right now, where we have that little triangle coming up, still trying right in this area to wrap up. You're probably looking at a thunderstorm right here, which has a wall cloud, a low hanging cloud under the thunderstorm cloud, which is trying to rotate and produce a tornado right in this area. So it has passed to the south of Tylertown and Lexi, very rural area right now, and we'll be heading into Marion County here next. All right, back to live storm show 16 Doppler radar right down. There's the thunderstorm moving really pretty much east, maybe just barely, slightly north of due east, so very nasty thunderstorm as it continues to head over towards Columbia, which is seeing some deteriorating weather conditions right now with very heavy rain and maybe even some hail on the north side of that cell. Further to the north, no current warnings. Further to the north, up towards the metro area, had that cell coming out of Lincoln County. Still looks like across the southern parts of Lawrence County, south of Monticello, could be a little wind associated with that cell right now. But right now, the only warning in our area is the tornado warning for Walthall County and the far southeastern parts of the viewing area. Anything further to the north is just heavy rain, thunder and lightning, maybe some wind gusts in there. So that is very good news for most of the viewing area. This will continue to shift off to the east at about 50 miles per hour as it moves out of Walthall and into Marion County, and then it'll come up on the west side of Hattiesburg as it moves to the east. And right there, coming up on Dexter right now, and as Adam mentioned, this cell has been pretty much moving close to and along Highway 48 down there, and it does continue to do so. So this is still some pretty strong winds being indicated by live Storm Shield 16 Doppler radar of 100 miles per hour, maybe some gusts up to 125. So significant wind associated with that cell. And you can notice how further to the north, there are some strong winds on the northern edge of that. So got that nice push of wind with this thunderstorm, which is already to the east of Tylertown right now. So improving conditions back in Tylertown and Lexi, where you got roughed up by this cell moving through a short time ago. So coming up through the Dexter community right now, Dexter Road, Airline Highway, which runs south of Highway 48 right there, east of Kiln Road. And if you're from this part of Walthall County, you know these areas that I am talking about. Notice out ahead of that storm, there's nothing. So to the east of it, out towards Lamar County, to the southwest of Hattiesburg, nice cloudy conditions right now, nothing going on. But you get back towards Columbia, Marion County, getting pretty rough there, and looks like some hail moving across Marion County now as the cell will exit Walthall County here in the next 5 to 10 minutes and makes its way across Marion County and approaches Hattiesburg probably in the next 30 minutes or so. All right, Adam, give us an update. What are you seeing on that wind field right down
It's
there?
tightening back up. It's tightening back up. There's the panel.
Yeah,
and,
there you can see it. And you know, as we've covered severe weather, we see a lot of this cycle up and down.
And supercells are cyclic, so they cycle up, they cycle down. This is very common with supercell thunderstorms. There it is, trying to tighten back up again, right along Highway 48 there in southern Walthall County. And you notice how now our normalized rotation, this box down here, is now going up into the pinks and the magentas, and that's on the high end of our scale. And we saw last weekend with the tornadoes that when you're up in that category, when you're up in that level of normalized rotation, you probably are seeing a tornado on the ground. Even though you're not seeing debris, it takes a while for debris to be lofted where the radar can pick it up, because, I mean, we're scanning, 3,000 feet in the air. That's, that's pretty high up there. So you have to think about it that way, that it's taken a while for that debris to maybe get lofted and get picked up by radar. So just because you don't see a debris signature does not mean that we could not have a tornado on the ground or one that's about to be on the ground at any time. So this is a very serious situation for southern Walthall County, getting ready to cross over into Marion County. This thing is racing to the east at 55 miles per hour. So these storms are booking, and they mean business. So whenever a warning is issued, please get to your safe place right now. All right, so we'll put it back into the two-panel mode. And we just had our TVS upgrade to red. So that is not a good sign. That means that we continue to see the rotation tightening, the rotation strengthening. And on the Storm Shield, I noticed, David, the blinking red warning rings now, which indicates that we have very high winds in that area right now. In fact, let me get to the green wall, just kind of point out what we're talking about right now. And if y'all can pop me up on the chroma key. And we'll show you what we're talking about right now when we talk about the area tightening up right now. So this is your hook echo, and that's where your tornado would be right there. So you have...
And I do have shear 125.
Okay, 125. Okay, so we've been back and forth with that with this signature. So this continues to maintain a very strong presence on radar down here in southern Walthall County. But there it is right there. I mean, that's just really wrapping up down here. This is the extreme southern part of Walthall County. Dexter, be in your safe place right now. We've been calling out Dexter on the radar. We've been tracking it out, moving due east. This is Highway 48 there in southern Walthall County, moving over into southern Marion County. The good news is this will go south of downtown Columbia. Downtown Columbia is seeing very heavy rain right now, a lot of lightning, maybe even some small hail. But the circulation, the most dangerous part of this storm, is staying south of downtown Columbia, south of downtown Kokomo, moving to the east. Sandy Hook, be in your safe place right now. This storm is heading directly for Sandy Hook, which is down here off of Highway 35 in southern Marion County. Right now moving due east. And there is your rotation right there. Very strong rotation coming into Marion County right now. This is Highway 98. This is Kokomo and Columbia, so this is staying south of Highway 98, and this will be moving over into Marion County. We have a warning in effect for Lamar County as well. 150. Now we're green on the Storm Shield 16 system, so our system is suggesting that this is probably a tornado on the ground, and a sizable tornado on the ground right now in southern Walthall County. Man, very nasty signature continues right now, about to cross over into Marion County. It continues to tighten up. There's your rotation right there. And in fact, let me go to the 4-panel mode real quick, and we'll just see if we can see any debris on that at this time.
While Adam's doing that, let's go back to live Storm Shield 16 Doppler radar. We'll get back to him as he tries to investigate that. But you can see this cell down here in the far southern parts of the viewing area right there. Be moving into Marion County here very shortly, and does look like it is going to, well, we've been watching it for about the last hour. And it's going to be moving into a very rural area, so we're not getting any sightings in it, but certainly the data that we're seeing associated with this indicating this could be a large tornado and a strong tornado. You know, we were dealing with that about a week ago. Here it is in motion, and really pretty much east, maybe just slightly due east. Right here, this is the Mississippi-Louisiana line. So you can see when it was back here, it was more on the Mississippi-Louisiana line, so it's a little bit further to the north. Thinking upwind, north of Lumberton would be where this cell is going to pass, but clearly a tornado signature here on live Storm Shield 16 Doppler radar. We get into that green, we're into the 125, 150 range, which would be indicative of something that could be on the EF3 range. Now, you cannot rate tornadoes based on radar representation, because a lot does go into it, but in general, this is what we would kind of tornado that we would expect to see with this kind of cell. Here's Sandy Hook, Highway 35. The tornado will be crossing Highway 35 very shortly as it moves into the western parts of Marion County down there in southeast Mississippi. Further to the north, Columbia is seeing a little bit of hail associated with that cell as it moves rapidly off to the east. Now, here is a wide view of the storm, and it's in what I always call the foot tip of Walthall, because I always think Walthall County looks like a boot. And that's the foot tip out there. So moving across the southern parts of Marion County and then over into Lamar County, I think the tornado will pass just to the north of Lumberton and then stay south of Hattiesburg. But certainly the Hattiesburg area would certainly need to keep a very close eye on that if it would change direction or anything like that. And certainly there's a lot of suburbs of Hattiesburg down towards south, down Highway 49, once you get to the southeast of Hattiesburg, Oak Grove, those kind of communities, south down Interstate 59, south of Hattiesburg. So that looks like where the cell is going to continue its eastward movement. Let me just fix this map quickly. It got off my scale there. I want to show you that we continue to show some very significant rotation, crossing very shortly now out of Walthall, New Hope Road, 10 Mile Creek Road, Pounds Road. This is in the western parts of Marion County. Come up on Old Highway 35 south before too much longer. This is significant rotation and significant winds with this cell as it's moving to the south. Give you the quick recap of the viewing area. When that cell does move out into Marion County, it will be in the Hattiesburg TV market. And we're going to go back to regular programming here in the next couple minutes. And then you can see up here towards the Jackson metro area, the heavy rains beginning to wind down a little bit. Severe weather threat is no tornadoes up into the Jackson metro area. We've been telling you that for the last couple of hours, and the heavy rains will continue to shift off to the east. But right now, southeast Mississippi is under the gun with this one supercell thunderstorm. Looks like it's going to pass to Hattiesburg. Let's go to Adam for one more update. I'll come back with a final update, and then we'll throw it back to regular programming.
All right, David, we do have a TDS. We did confirm that on the GR2. So let's take a look at Storm Shield 16 3D, and we did the 4-panel mode. This is how we confirm it. Okay, so this is the top left right here. You see the very well-defined hook echo. You see the velocity, and like we saw last Sunday with those violent tornadoes, the velocity is blank right there. So the winds are going so fast that the radar system cannot determine which way they're going and what speed they're going that fast. And also, too, we have the normalized rotation. And then right here, this blue, that is our debris signature. So this is now lofting debris into the air. You know, it's in a pretty rural area. It's probably just trees, pieces of trees being lofted up into the storm. But downstream, it's going to be moving into a more populated area of Marion County, crossing over Highway 35, Highway 43, and then this will be moving over into the Baxterville area. This is over into Lamar County, and this would be affecting areas like Purvis and just to the north of Lumberton. Okay, so if you know folks in Purvis, tell them, give them a call, give them a heads up that a very nasty tornado is heading in their direction right now. Okay, so violent tornado, we cannot rate a tornado based on radar signatures, but based on the presentation, there is a very good likelihood that this is probably a significant tornado on the ground in Marion County, David.
All right, let's take you through here and what's going on. Severe thunderstorms and tornado threat has diminished significantly across the Channel 16 viewing area. We do have this one cell which is now moving into Marion County. It's out of Walthall County, and as Adam was showing you, he'll put that debris signature up in a second. I'll go back over to it. Debris signature right near Sandy Hook crossing Highway 35. This is to the south of Columbia, Mississippi, and as he said, headed over further off to the east, Purvis, Lumberton, keeping a close eye on this, and South Hattiesburg. Here you can still see these winds, 125 to 150 in green. And you know, a lot of times, we talk about the preparation for severe thunderstorms and we getting you ready for this severe weather event. Many times it's one tornado that occurs during the event, and this is going to be the one tornado. We've had a lot of nasty weather, some winds, trees, and everything down, but this is going to be the tornado that's going to probably come in to be, probably EF3, just based on what we're seeing here in the debris getting lost. Let's go over to Storm Shield 16 3D and just show you again. I want to see one panel, and I want to see the debris signature down there towards Sandy Hook, because there you can see right there. That's the debris being lofted into the air. And you go back, you can show the base reflectivity. And there it is, just wrapping around it. This is a strong tornado. It is in a rural area right now, but as it moves eastward, it will move into a more populated area over the next 30 to 45 minutes. All right, back over to live Storm Shield 16 Doppler radar. And there you can see the strong winds now into Marion County, moving very quickly. And the weather is getting a lot better off to the west of this cell. Well, do know that we will be watching all the storms that continue in South Mississippi. You should, if you have a family, again, remember in the Hattiesburg area, it looks like that cell will be passing to the south of Hattiesburg, but those folks will be watching the coverage down in the Hattiesburg television market, and we'll watch the storms for you, but it really looks like the severe weather threat diminishing significantly now. Of course, we'll have all the very latest coming up on the news at 10, and if we need to come back on, we will. Let's go back to our regular scheduled programming.
Good singer. You've got to figure that out, especially going to the top 20.
Katie said you're in the top 20.
You're going to the top 20.
To find you, Kimmy.
Did you get that?
Thank you so much. Thank you.